All right, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Atimise Maths Academy, where maths is being made easy for us all. Now, today we are going to be talking about the nth term of GP, nth term of geometric progression, and the topic is geometric progression. In my previous video, I've talked about how to find the common ratio of a GP and also the definition and explanation of geometric progression. In this particular question, we have solved some example in my previous video how to find the nth term, but this particular question is a critical question from WAEC, so I decided to make it easy for us all. So now, how do we start by solving this problem? Let's observe the question. Question 1. They said the second term is 6. They just started by saying the second term is 6, which is direct, and the fourth term is 54. Find the nth term. Now, it could have been more easier if we have maybe a number here, maybe 10th term, 11th term, or any of the term, but just n was given to us that we should look for the nth term. Okay, that simply means we should look for the general formula of this question. Okay, it's very simple. Don't worry. I am here to help. Now, let's start by saying solution. Solution. Now, how do we start? We are using the formula because the nth term of a GP, this is the general formula, T sub n is equal to A, which is your first term, R, which is your common ratio, raised to the power of n minus 1. This is the formula we are going to use. So now, the second term, for the second term, let's say for the second term, we have, for the second term, using this formula, T sub 2, because for the second term, this is 2. Second means 2. So anywhere we see n, we replace it with 2. It's equal to A R raised to the power of 2 minus 1, which will end up giving us, this implies that, okay, we still have, because from the question it said the term is equal to 6. Since it is equal to 6, this is equal to 6, which implies that A R, because when you take away 1 from these two, it becomes just 1 power. A R is equal to 6. This becomes equation. So we have let me clean it, let me make it more easier. Now, this implies that A R is equal to what? 6. This is equation 1. Now, let's go from the question again. And the fourth term will be T sub 4. T sub 4 is equal to A R raised to the power of 4 minus 1, which is equal to 54. This now implies that 54 is the fourth term. This now implies that A R raised to the power of 3 is equal to 54. This is equation 2. Now, our main aim is for us to get our common ratio. If we're able to get our common ratio, it will be very easy to get our first term. So what do we do? Since two equation is given to us there, what we need to do is we write divide equation 2 by equation 1. Divide equation 2 by equation 1. Okay, that simply means A raised to the power of 3 is equals to 54 divided by A R is divided by what? 6. So this will cancel this. One of this R will be taken away from this power 3. So you end up having R squared is equal to 9. When you add 54 divided by 6, will give you 9. Now, you have take take the root of, okay, let me use this word, the square root. Take the square root of both sides. Take the square root of both sides. Your aim is to make r subject to the formula. You don't want power 2 to be there. You just need only one r to be there. So when you take the root, the square root of r squared is equal to the square root of 9. This power 2 will cancel the root. It will now end up having r is equal to 3. The square root of 9 is 3. So now we have gotten r to be 3. What do we do now? We are going to write put r is equals to 3 into equation 1. Put r equals to 3 into equation 1. Look at our equation 1. That means anywhere we see r, we replace it with 3. That's what they mean. So a is multiplied by what? 3 is equal to 6. So you end, this implies that you have 3a is equal to 6. You divide both sides by 3. And this implies that a is equal to 2. A is equal to 2. This implies that a is equal to 2. Now, we have end up solving the second term is 6, the fourth term is 54, and we end up from our formula, we have looked for our a to be 2 and our r to be 3. Now, they said we should find the nth term, which is the last step. Finding the nth term using the same formula. That simply means the nth term, t sub n, because at this moment we are talking about the nth term, t sub n is equal to, what is our a? From the formula, our a is 2 times, now you know your times, you can use either bracket or normal times. You are still correct. Your arrow is what? Your arrow is 3. Your arrow is 3. Then it will now be n minus 1. N minus 1. If you observe very well, there is nothing we can do again here. So we end up having our final answer to be this. Our final answer to be this. Okay, let me revise back what I've just done. Now, this is a question given to us. We said find the second term if the second term is 6, and the fourth term if the fourth term is 54. Find the nth term. Using this formula, we are going to find the second term. If the second term is equals to 6, this is what we are going to do. We substitute it with the formula given to us. Now, we end up having equation 1. The second one is to find the fourth term. We end up having this as equation 2. Then we say we should divide equation 2. Now, most of the cases when you have a kind of simultaneous equation, you always divide by one of them, so that you can easily cancel out one of the parameter. Maybe to cancel a, if the a is easily cancelled, or you can easily cancel it. So when we divide it, you end up having r squared is equals to what? 9. Take the root, because you don't want the power 2 to stand alone. You want only r to stand alone. So for us in mathematics, for us to take the power away, we are going to take the roots of that power. So when we take the root of that power, this is 2. So 2 is square root. Assuming here was 3, it will be cube root. Assuming here was 4, it will be fourth root. That is how we used to solve in mathematics. So take the square root of both sides. By the time we take the square root of both sides, we end up having the square root of this, the square root of this. So in maths, even in laws of indices, whenever we have a root and it's been the root, inside the root you have a power 2. If the root and the powers are the same, they will cancel out to leave only the arrow or the base, which is arrow, to be there. Just that. So the square root of 9 will give us 3. Now r is equals to 3. Now we have end up having r, but we still need to find our our first term, which is A. So what do? We put, anywhere we see R is equals to 3, we put it into equation 1. Even if you use equation 2, you will still get the same answer. So how do we get it now? When we put it into the formula, this general formula, we'll put it there. Now, from the general formula, we got equation 1. So we say we should put it in equation 1. So that is how we got this value. So what do? This times this will give us 3a. So by the time we divide both sides by 3, we have a is equals to 2. So at this point, we want to find our nth term. So since we are being asked to find our nth term, we substitute into the general formula. The nth term, remember, it is n. So anywhere we see n, we put n. So the nth term, we end up having this as the general formula for this question. So thank you very much. Stay tuned. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you very much.